Oh, he's in! Henrik Larsson! That is sensational! O'Reilly, how about that for a pass? Jota! How about that for a finish? That is Jota for you! In for Henrik Larsson, and Moravcik! His first goal for Celtic! Here is Shunsuke Nakamura! Exquisite!
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Celtic Unrestricted View on this Wednesday evening. It is New Year's Eve. I hope you're all well. Hope you all have a good time, your families and your friends. And if you've got other family, i.e. kids, etc., have a good time tonight and all the best in 2026. Well, bad end to the year for Celtic guys and girls. My name is Ryan Clifford. Joining me is Daniel and Alan. Is he sacked yet? The answer is no. He's still in the job. He's still apparently going to win a dugout on Saturday. Celtic defeated against Motherwell at Fir Park last night. Disastrous performance, disastrous result, and another nailing on what could be potentially after Saturday the coffin for both Nancy at Celtic, and it could be pastors new. But Alan, we all know how the board work. The board don't like to admit they're wrong, but surely after last night, and if we get beaten Saturday, Alan, it's time to admit you're wrong. And if Nancy goes, they go as well.
Hi, good evening at 2 p.m, as you said, Ryan. Good afternoon, everyone. No, I don't know where to start. I think my headline under my name's probably the pinnacle of where to start. The ball is burst. Treated by Wilfred. He resembles as much a football manager as I resemble a brain surgeon. Right, the guy absolutely clueless, well at his depth. His interviews, his press conferences are like if you amalgamated Pedro Caixinha, Russell Martin and Philip Clement into one monster. This is what you see for Wilfred Nancy. Sorry, it's far from good enough. I have been saying this for quite a number of weeks, even for a minute we're linked to him. I'm saying that you can see for the evidence, it was clear as day that this guy wasn't up to the calibre that Celtic required. We're going for, no matter anybody's opinions on Brendan Rodgers, we're going for somebody of the calibre, the experience of Brendan Rodgers, and we're bringing in somebody that's got a horrendous win rate and kind of Montreal and Columbus crew. It just spelled disaster all over it, and sadly I wanted to be wrong, but sadly that this disaster's just unfurled right in front of our eyes, and it's just going to continue to get worse. There's no backing them. Been a lot of comments about maybe a few years on here being negative, and I think I never usually curse or swear on this, but me being a negative wank or something. Well, seems to be coming back around now, because it turns out that I think everybody's eyes are open now, and I think it's time everybody took the wakey, and I'll put a wee 5 on that as well, Jar lads. But I hope everyone's well on a brighter note. We get away for Celtic, just forget about Celtic. We'll finish the pod here. Hope everyone had a nice Christmas, a new year, hopefully, and it needs to be a new manager. But I hope you guys are well, and everybody that's watching as well.
So I'll just fix myself here, lads. You're right, Alan. Was it expected? Possibly, but no that performance, mate. Again, for me, Daniel, there's been probably too much positivity regarding the two victories against Aberdeen and Livingston. A poor Aberdeen team. I know they were doing all right unbeaten, but let's be fair, the way the game panned out, we struggled to beat a 10-man Aberdeen. The game against Livingston on Saturday was alarm bells right away, conceding 2 goals, having to score 4 goals. Last night, you having to try and score 2 to 3 goals to win the game, goes to 2-0, game's done. Normally, even with 2-0, with half an hour to go or something, Daniel, you're thinking, we'll still come back and win here. Nowadays, that's us ghost. We need to get the first goal right now underneath this manager to potentially win. But like Alan says, mate, we don't want to be right. We're no experts. We're just fans. The majority of the fan base were big red flags on this. Myself and JP did speak to Jonathan Burns, and I was actually a bit more positive coming off the chat with Jonathan. I really was. I did have my reservations still, but I'm thinking, right, he's improved them every year. Good stats and good goals, conceding goals. But we might actually hammer a lot of teams here in Scotland with this type of system. I didn't expect him to come in right away. I did say personally that he can't do that. You've got to drip feed it. We've got 3 important games. Just stick with the team now, get the victories hopefully, and then in January when you get some of your players, then maybe implement your free to back, etc., etc. I did say to JP before we played Roma on the pod, it was a Monday before it, if we play free to back against Roma, we will get humped. I don't want to be right about it, but I was right about it. But all the red flags, Daniel, that the majority of the fan base had, they're still there, and they're probably right to be. Even if you win on Saturday, Daniel, even if you win the next game, we're probably going to lose another game or 2 in between that. The manager for me, it's when it happens, not if. I think it's just going to be when, because ultimately, Daniel, he has to go in a 9, 10, 11, 12, blah, 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 game winning run to turn this round. And I just can't see it. I hope I'm wrong, Daniel, but I just cannot see how we move forward underneath this management.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of the kind of alarm bells that have been ringing for the minute he came in the door are just getting louder and louder and louder. More Alan than me, but it took a lot of stick in their season getting called negative, and we've said many times it's no negative, it's realism. We don't want to be right. We are saying these things hoping that we're getting proved wrong, and sadly we haven't been. We don't want to be in this position, but we are. I've said it for the last couple of weeks now. Every game for him's a cup final. Bar the cup final we actually lost. He's lost this one again. It's done. It's dusted. I wanted to be right. Couple of games. We'll go on a wee run here. He comes out in his post-match press conference and says he's not surprised the game went the way it went. He thinks we'll get better. I mean, I feel like the roles have completely reversed with us, and we've went from laughing at managers that say that to now having one and gone. Last night's post-match interview film is the only one that I have watched because I just can't bring myself to do it. I don't know where we go for here. I do not believe the board will sack him, because then that would be them having to admit that they've done something wrong. They would rather sit and blame us, blame the Green Brigade, blame UEFA, blame everybody else other than themselves. There's nobody else to blame now. So
is that sabotage? But Daniel, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but just when you're mentioning that, if the board don't do that, is that a certain type of sabotage that they know that this everybody can see? If you're unless you're Stevie Wonder, you can see what's going on here, that it's gone wrong. Is it sabotage that the board are that kind of stubborn that they'll know admit kind of when they're wrong and kind of correct us so that we've got some chance of kind of resurrecting this season? For me, I don't know how anybody can look at that and go, no, this is going to work out all right. Just for me, when you say that, I'm thinking the word sabotage right away.
That's completely spot on, mate. That's what I said to you in the chat earlier on. This is just my personal view, but I definitely believe that the Celtic board have so much spite for the fans, especially over the last 12 months, that they would happily sit and watch this season burn than admit they were wrong and actually do something to fix it. I mean, Celtic PLC is run very, very well, but that's not what it says on the front door. It says Celtic Football Club on the front door, and Celtic Football Club at this very moment in time are the epitome of incompetence. It's literally incompetence incarnate all over the park, in the dugout, in the boardroom, everywhere. It is ridiculous to think that this Celtic team went toe-to-toe with Bayern Munich less than 12 months ago. You'd think we were the ones that have just came back up for the third tier. It is a joke the way that we are right now, and something needs to change. But like I've said, I don't see them doing it because that would mean they have to admit that they've done wrong, and they'd rather blame everybody else than themselves. So for me, I don't see a way out other than downwards.
Aye, it's been the Green Brigade's fault. It was Brendan Rodgers' fault. Partly Brendan was potentially a part of the small issue, but Brendan wanted quality. He wanted this. He wanted that. He was probably annoying the board. He wasn't getting the answers, and he's seen what was coming. And quite frankly, he's not said anything because what's happening is proved right. For me, every other manager's come in. Even Neil Lennon says it, and Sports said it. They've always mentioned about quality signing and stuff now. I've got some Rangers mates, right, who they don't understand why I'm getting irate about the board. They think because there's loads of money in the bank, we've won domestically. I get why, right? For the outside in, people going, well, you've won how many leagues? You've qualified for the last few years in Europe, blah, blah, blah. But see me look at the ins and outs of the recruitment and everything that the board have gave us. We'll touch on the game after this wee bit, because there's loads to touch on. I know we've only got another day, but there's loads to touch on that you could broaden your horizons. The recruitment when Rodgers first came back, majority of the players are away. We still won the league that year, mostly because Angie's team was doing well. Your Abadas and your Matt O'Reilly's, etc., etc., etc. All the guys were still there, your Kyogos, etc. They were still there helping the team. Carter Vickers, Alistair Johnson, obviously Casper came back as well, but I was winning Rodgers' black book. That was his book. That was his help me here. I've not got a goalie. Didn't he spend money on a goalie, by the way? Aye, Casper has been brilliant. We'll touch on him as well. But for what we pay from, brilliant. Probably good wages as well. But they didn't want to go and spend money in a goalkeeper. For me, Aaron, this isn't just happened since the summer. It's just happened since January. This has been building for years. When Rangers get liquidated and down to the third division, the board just went, there's Carlton Cole, there's Kazim Richards, there's Tonev, there's loan deals. Right, Brendan, before you head off to Leicester, we'll give you Tim O'Ware, we'll give you Ollie Buck, we'll give you Tojan, all these loan deals. The window was a shambles before Brendan left. And he's probably like, you know what? I'm off. Why should I stay here? We're trying to win the league here and help us in every capacity, and you're giving me loan deals. Listen, I'm not a big believer of this January stuff, Alan. It's hard window to get done. Hearts are signing players. Motherwell are signing players. Teams in lowland leagues are signing players. I know it's a different stratosphere in terms of money side, but how are we sitting potentially now? We're trying to sign players, but a loan deal. We don't need loans. We need guys to come in and play who are up to speed. This guy who's come for Bournemouth, potentially, we'll touch on as well, might be a good player. Might be good. But he's not played all season. He's played one cup game. He's no match fit. We need guys to come in and get fit now and play. No guys who need to wait 6 weeks to get fit. The full thing, Aaron, this isn't just a summer in January. This has gone for way back, for 2012 onwards, probably. The recruitment hasn't been up to scratch. Yes, we're making money. All this money in the bank. Brilliant. But Celtic should be far and away better in Europe and better where we are right now. And it's all came to a climax now. And now people are going, oh, the board done a good now and we're not performing good now. Well, there was a loads of alarm bells for that, Aaron.
Well, it's been happening for a number of years now, and as I say, it's negativity or being realistic, whatever anybody's opinion of it. I've been massively vocal about how much we're no matching our potential with the ambition we're showing. And I'm not naive enough to think that the Celtic board are going to go out and spend every penny we've got. That would just be silly. But I've been saying consistently that there's definitely more meat in the bone. There's definitely issues behind the scenes with recruitment, because you look at the last number of transfer windows and you're struggling to pick any players out that when you look at Angie's time with major successes. Now you're looking at the players that have come in, and are we really looking upon any of these players that have made improvements to the likes of kind of Matt O'Reilly, to Real Hatati, no matter how they're performing at present, to Jota, to Abada, to Kyogo, to Cameron Carter-Vickers, to Carol Starfelt, to Alistair Johnston, etc., etc., etc. None of the players that are coming in, it's still basically been the structure of an Ange team because we've failed in probably the last four transfer windows, I'd say. There's none of them that are really making a proper impact, you'd say. There might be a couple that are coming in and playing. There is ones that have been there when we've won trophies, but you're looking at least kind of one or two players that we're bringing in each window. You're thinking that you want them to make a proper impact to the team and trying to improve us. We're sitting here in the best financial position we've ever been in our existence. Business-like, seemingly we're the second best run club in Britain, behind Tottenham Hotspur. But for me, we've spoken about this a number of times. It doesn't matter how much money we've got in the bank. It's us as fans want to see what's happening on the pitch. And on the pitch, we're not looking to cheer on a kind of business check, etc. We're looking for the kind of players there. We know we're not going to spend kind of 20 million on a player. We're not going to spend $100,000 a week on a player. We're realistic about that. But when you're looking at, we've spent 250 grand on Inamura that's went missing. You're looking at Yamada, that's obviously horrendous scouting. And then we're kind of bringing in last minute deals for the likes of Taneki, Balakwisha that were overpaid. Then the manager comes out, gets hung out to dry, Brendan Rodgers, with saying that, we'll not sell Adamida. Whatever I thought he had, we'll not sell Adamida unless we bring in a replacement. Adamida gets sold, and then we're jumping about in the Pineapple Aid, the beach shop, looking for a striker in the free agent market, and it's Kalechi that's obviously he's got hamstrings like strawberry laces. So it's just the whole club just now, from bottom to top, is an absolute mess, and it's been coming. I've been saying consistently that this is coming. The chickens are coming home to roost, and they're well and truly clucking away now. And it's look, this has been happening, and for the people that haven't been seeing this, fair play. But I'm pretty sure everybody's eyes are open now because it is concerning going into this game at the weekend. Whereas, well, Glasgow rivals have been in quite the mess, but we look as if we're in a bigger one now, and that is what's massively concerning. For me, there has to be a lot of change at board level. There has to be a lot of changes in recruitment. There has to be a lot of changes at player level. But the one part that can be dealt with immediately, and everybody can see plain as day, that this manager is nowhere near good enough. Right? We're just going to continue to regress under this manager because honestly, he's an absolute crackpot. I'm sorry, I don't obviously really is known personally. He's probably a nice guy, right? But in footballing terms, he has not one clue what he's doing, and he has to be removed from his position immediately, today, yesterday, whenever, because we are just going to continue to regress when this guy is at the helm.
Obviously, JP's not on today, but he has sent us a wee video in. We'll get JP's thoughts about the manager and obviously last night, and then we'll obviously continue with the pod, lads.
Afternoon, boys. Afternoon, folks. Hope everybody's well. Looking forward to the new year. We've been hugging obviously. Those of you who celebrate, I hope you have a lovely time. And all the best for 2026. I just wanted to come on and actually give a few words regarding the situation at Celtic just now. I feel that I've got to hold my hands up first and foremost. The manager hasn't worked out, unfortunately. I personally was excited when I saw him that we were getting this guy. I done a bit of due diligence. I spoke to Jonathan Burns, and I was excited by the manager. But very quickly, this has now gone wrong, and it's became more and more apparent now that this is a specialised system that Wilfred wants to play, and he just doesn't have the players to play that. But he's also shown that he's not tactically aware enough because he's not able to change his approach in games as well. He's still sticking to this back three. It's not working. We're being very isolated in the final third for the opposition. Defensively, we're all over the camp. Players look as if they're lost. They don't know what they're doing. And yeah, it's quite quickly went wrong. He's lost 5 from 7 games now. The 2 games he's won, you could probably look at that and all, and you're okay. We were happy to win the games, but Aberdeen were down to 10 men, and a lot of the time that, you know, that when we beat them, Livingston scored 2 goals against us, really put us up against it as well right early on in the game. So yeah, it's not been great at all by any means. We've lost a cup final as well. I just feel, lads, that Martin O'Neill obviously had come in and really steadied things, really got confidence about the place again, and really started to take the outside noise away from the players, and started bringing a feel-good factor around the place. And then all of a sudden that's now been undone within the space of 6-7 weeks now. 6-7 games, should I say. So for me, the manager needs to go, and we need to, I think there'll be a few hands going up and having to apologise and say, look, we got this wrong, and we need to look for another manager ASAP. Otherwise, this season, very quickly, lads, is going to become unattainable. It's going to get away from us. And yeah, very quickly we are going to drop out of what could be a title challenge. We might be dropping out of that if things continue in this manner. Everybody take care, hail hail, and hope you have a good 2026. All the best.
Cheers, JP. Well, I think JP sums up everything we have kind of said here. The manager has to go, Daniel. The 2 games he won, yes, brilliant. Certain parts it was decent, but defensively we're wide open. The system that he brought in is not working with these players. He might actually fare better, Daniel, if he actually just stuck with the full 3-3 and then won games, and then he might go, right, maybe he understands what he's got to do here. But even last night, Daniel, he didn't even change the formation when you're 1-0 down. He didn't change it. He was putting Hatate as a false 9. I'll even put this a wee photo up, mate, of the positions of the team. If it comes out there, there you go. Tierney was maybe full back. He's playing like a left-sided forward. Maeda's maybe your striker. Where was he? Where's Hatate? McGregor? Look at the 3. Ralston's basically playing like a right full back. Trusty's himself and Scales is away in there. It's total kamikaze football.
Look at Yang behind the left side. He's behind Bernardo, right? But he could be the right.
So ultimately, Daniel, that's shown you what we're seeing. Now, we're not at the stadium and we can see that. So surely you've got to change it mid-game. And even mid-game, Daniel, his changes were bonkers. It's just like throwing darts, right? We'll put Forrest on, we'll do this, we'll do that. He changed Maeda 2 or 3 times. He changed Tierney 2 or 3 times. Just, even as a manager, Daniel, just say, look, I can't do this job. Maybe I've come in blinded. Maybe I've come in too quick. Right, okay, hold my hands up and leave. I think that's the best thing for him, because say if we get beaten Saturday and it continues to be here, more fans are going to give him abuse about get him away, get him this, get him that. The board will get more abuse. It's going to turn into an absolute car crash this season. And we don't want that. If we're going to sustain anything, Daniel, the manager ultimately, no matter what happens Saturday, by the way, because you might lose again the next week, by the way, don't even count your chickens, will be Auckland right away we're playing. People will laugh at me, haha. No, I'm being serious here. The lack of effort in the team as well, we'll touch on, Daniel, but what's your thoughts on what JP says there, mate? And obviously the last bit about the management before we head towards the game.
Yeah, fair play to JP. Obviously, it's not easy to put your hands up and say you were ragging, but it's just one of the things, innit? I don't think it's, for me, I don't think it's like he's no got the players. The players are there. They know how to win. They've done it for a number of seasons now. They know how to play the system. It's as if the players don't know what they want from him. I mean, you look at that photo you put up there. I mean, that's a rabble. That's not a formation. That's everybody meeting. Somebody's got a photo in their phone and they're all running out to see it. That's not a football team. That is horrific, watching that. And then watching the games as well. I'm calling the captain over to talk to him at least 2 or 3 times a game. This is a guy who's played football for nearly 20 years of his life in Scotland. I think he knows what he's doing in the middle of the park. We've seen it for a number of years now. But no, it's just, I think you're spot on, mate. He's completely out of his depth, and you could probably look down back towards the line and say, right, that was the time where he should have put his horns up and walked away. But he's doubling down, and it's only going to get worse because the board's coming out and saying previously that they're going to back him the full way in January. He is the guy for what they want today. By the looks of it, that's nothing else other than sabotage the season. It sounds completely mental. It sounds outrageous, but there's just no other way to look at it other than what I'm saying. For me, I do not see any benefit coming out of this system or this manager. It just looks lost, and even at points in his interview last night, he looked lost for words. He looked worried to actually answer. If Celtic lose on Saturday, it's just going to go from bad to worse. I don't want to say it's going to get nasty, but it's not going to be pretty. Something needs to change. They need to get either his P45 sent in the post or just get him out of the. Just get him out. Do you know what I mean? It can't go on like this. It just can't, because the players just don't look interested anymore. And even last night, they don't look bothered. They're not running. They're jogging. They're passing it out the park. They're passing it right to the Motherwell players. When the ball's coming there in the back three, it's only Austin Trusty that's running back to try and help. So you've got a 1v2. We go 2-0 down and they sub-zone Kobe Donovan. I mean, I just don't understand it. He's lack of ambition to actually change if it's not gone well. Tells you all you need to know for me. It's far too stubborn.
It's a good point as well from off the Underside podcast. Is that the board of duty care to protect Nancy too? Is it getting out of hand? I totally agree, Alan. I think the board need to obviously take into consideration that the way this is in Glasgow, when Celtic don't win or don't do well, even Rangers, it's the same. As much as it shouldn't happen, people say things they shouldn't say. And there's going to be guys getting abuse and guys getting irate and saying things they shouldn't be saying, because football people get emotionally attached to it, and they just get irate because their team's no winning. And it shouldn't happen, but it's society. It happens around the world. It happens in every team, right? They need to look after him as well here, Alan, because the longer it gets, the more stick he's going to get, the more abuse online he's getting, the more he's going to get told on podcasts, fan media, he's not good enough, he's got to go. It's going to happen constantly. Even if we beat one on Saturday and you win the next 2 or 3 games, if you're losing all 2 or 3 games, he's going to get it. It's just delaying. For me, Alan, you need to help him out as well here. Say, look, well, if you're unlucky, you've tried, it's not worked, we've got it wrong, you've got it wrong. There's your payoff package. Go back to, if it's America or back to France, wherever it is he's going to go after he leaves Celtic. Enjoy the rest of your life and career, and we'll maybe keep an eye on and see how you get on in the future. That's it, Alan. I think it's just they've got to look after him as well, but also ultimately they need to look after the football club, and they're not doing that. They've not looked after Celtic. We all said it in the summer, majority of fan base, about they've no strengthened, they've not done this, they've not gave Celtic the best chance possible. And ultimately, as much as it pains me to say it, it's came to fully fruition now that the summer, as much as I don't want to keep you back to the summer, that's where this progressed. And you can see it, Aaron, that it's progressing at a rate that I didn't think it would go to, but it's got to a rate where you're actually fearing about finishing second now. No fearing. Take that out. You're like, I'll be a bit fearing, I'm no fearing about losing league titles, but when you're not getting the full backing from the club, the fans and the players and everything's not getting the best opportunity to strengthen, then that's when you're really frustrated and annoyed, because for me, Alan, it's not on to run any football club, even a business like this. It's wrong at the highest order, mate.
No matter what, you could go and win the next 15 games, it's done. the fans' minds are made up. There's no going back for this. You could win the next 15 games, win the league, and then that European qualifier next year, and it'll be back to square one. There's no going back for this whatsoever with JP. Fair play, JP. I know we have all wee debates and all that, but you've come on and says that and took that back. So you've been a bigger man with doing that. But just as long as you know, whatever we were saying, we were the daddies all the time. Lad. Much love to you and your family, mate. But no, in all seriousness, it takes a lot to come on and eat a wee bit of humble pie. But where are we with our opinions? No, I mean, it'd be boring this podcast if we all had the same opinion. So that's what makes it. But back to it's done for me. It's like you're delaying. We done a podcast 2 weeks ago, I think, and the headline was delay the inevitable, and now we're a couple of weeks later. It's still we're still delaying. There's no prospect to this getting any better. There's only a prospect to this getting any worse. And I firmly agree that it could get nasty at the weekend if this guy's still in place. And even if we want to draw the game, I think it would be very, very nasty.
He's still got to go, Alan.
Aye, he's still going to go no matter what. But if we had to draw or get beat at Celtic Park at the weekend, I could really see what I'm not going to say fences and plastic sharks flying about, but it could get to that level, and it would. I'm not going to say endanger his safety, but you know how passionate it can be in Glasgow when it when regards to football with Celtic Rangers and that. You know, you've seen some of the sights when kind of the Rangers fans were wanting Russell Martin away, probably because of similar that he was coming out speaking a lot of waffle the way that this clown we've got to know. He's coming out saying things that we've not even got a clue what he's talking about. So there is a lot of fury and kind of anger within the support base just now. We know that. We're speaking to friends, family. You look at kind of any part of social media, and you're seeing quite clearly there is a lot of anger kind of going towards this guy, and it's not because of him personally. You never want to attack anybody personally. It's just because football means so much in Glasgow that we are really angry and frustrated that we've regressed that much. And the board at present isn't taking the steps to try and make some sort of correction for the rest of the season, because we're only halfway into the season. So there is still time to kind of resurrect some sort of challenge with a January transfer window. But I don't think any Celtic fan whatsoever now has got any faith that we should be kind of buying players while this guy's at the helm. He's just, honestly, I think this is, I know we'll probably say John Barnes and Tony Mowbray, etc., but I honestly think this is the worst Celtic manager that's ever been in control of Celtic. I don't see anything what he's trying to do.
Aaron, John Barnes lost 8 and 29. This guy's lost 5 and 7. It's a big difference. And bear in mind, John Barnes didn't have all the batting for the board either in terms of money-wise. He didn't have money back then compared to now. So, you're right, mate. Obviously, Daniel, into the game, mate. The 2 goals we conceded, they're so poor. I spoke about it last week about Kasper Schmeichel. I know Sinisal wasn't amazing against Livingston, but Kasper Schmeichel for me is finished at Celtic. I know he might go on Saturday and put on an amazing performance. Every game, Daniel, he's making mistakes. Every single game, his kickouts, his passing range, he's so slow off his line. Austin Trusty should be doing better for that, right? Ralston as well, he's nowhere near thirsty. That's 7 yards out, and Kasper's just stood in his line, didn't move. Again, it's happening every game. And the second goal, it's just, I don't know what he's doing as well. It's an absolute shambles. The 2 goals are preventable, Daniel. That's the thing, mate. The 2 goals are preventable. It's not like Motherwell played through us in terms of it was an amazing goal for them. Obviously, by the way, give respect to Motherwell for their performance. They were well drilled, well coached, fantastic, by the way. They knew everything that we were weakened by, and they done it as a kipper. The manager knew exactly what he'd done tactically. The players responded to it, and it's a very, very well coached team. we don't look coached. We just look like it's like, these are all decent players, just go and do what you want. That's the way it looks. I know that's not the case. They're obviously doing analysis, Daniel, and doing all this. But to me, and I think the majority of the fan base, Daniel, it just looks like it's right. That's my formation. There, just you play there. Look, Ralston, I know you play right back, mate, but you play in there. Yang, you play right mid, but I'll play you at right full back. And in fact, no, do you know what? I'll move you at left mid. Dyson, you play there. Do you know what? I'll play you there. Rio, midfield, I'll play you as a number 9. Daniel, it just reeks of absolute kamikaze. It's no sustainable. And that last night, as much as I want to blame the manager, we'll touch on the players. The players need to do a lot better, mate. Casper, it's like he's about to get him sacked with the way he played last night and that defence.
Yep. How many more goals is Casper Schmeichel going to be allowed to give away before he is dropped for a good run of games? The first goal, make no mistake, it's a fantastic ball in for Stephen O'Donnell. Great ball.
Sorry about it, mate. But Wolfen says it came for a shy.
Exactly. It's literally a throw-in for the run about the halfway line. Stephen O'Donnell takes one step and whips the ball in, and Casper Schmeichel stood there like a statue and goes like this and watches it fall in the back of the net instead of making any attempt to go for it. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. The second goal, how many times have we seen his poor passes go straight to an opposition player? I actually don't understand why he keeps playing him. For me, it surely has to be the reason that his name and what he's done before. Because if you're Sinisalo sitting in that bench, albeit you did let 2 goals in against Livy, but one of them was a screamer, you must be raging. You must be absolutely...
Did you hear the interview that he done before the game? He was questioned. It was questioned if bringing Casper back into the first 11 was a hard choice, and he gave a one-word answer and said no. How does Sinisalo feel with that? And this is just this crackpot statement. That I think it was Charlie McGrew that was saying Alan Hutton like that. Oh, we want to be Sinisalo now. He just said it was asked straight out. I don't know if a lot of people seen that interview. I was obviously watching it before it, and he asked them, was it a hard decision to bring Casper back in instead of Sinisalo? And he says no. They didn't dig into it, and it was just blatant disrespect to the players. And for me, if he's acting like that in interviews, has he lost the dressing room already? Is that why we're seeing the players like that? Because we certainly didn't see the players getting that lack of effort with Martin O'Neill. But sorry for it. It was just because that part was relevant.
Right.
Daniel.
No, you're spot on, mate. It is relevant. I would hate to be Sinisalo sitting in that bench right now because there can't be, like, even at any sort of level in your work, if somebody's playing or working above you and they're absolutely making a rip-roaring messy at the way Schmeichel is, you're sitting there going, surely I can't be that bad. It's actually gain, like, casting my mind back to like players like Segrist, just never get a sniff whatsoever for no apparent reason. I don't understand how he can justify keep putting Schmeichel in there because we've seen it after the cup final. For me was the one. I don't really want to get hurt here because I've got a sore shoulder, so I'm not going to drive the full way and the ball ends up in the back of the net and we lose the game. Ridiculous.
It happened, Daniel. It happened against United. He dived to the left with his right horn.
Yeah,
that's not normal, mate. You dive your left horn.
Yeah, he couldn't be bothered. I mean, the Braga game, the ball moves in the air, but see, in the end up, he's getting nobody round about him. He's watching it the full way, and it actually diverts in the air right towards him, and it still hits the net. I just don't understand it. But just on the game, mate, if you can fire that image back up. No, looking at that back three, that back three right there is the exact formation that Charlie Mulgrew had on that podcast talking about the back three. Tierney's away up there. Can't really help the danger. Scales, no man's land. Trusty's his cell. And Anthony Ralston is nowhere to be seen as well. So, one ball comes through the middle of the park there. Austin Trusty's 1v1. How many goals have we seen in this 7 games that have been similar to that? Benjamin Negrin is your furthest forward player, which at sometimes you might be able to justify because he's the top scorer. Look at where Maeda is. Maeda isn't even... He's playing up front and he's not even in the opposition half. The midfield are standing and holding each other's horns. Yang is on the complete opposite side of the park where he should be. Now, this isn't just like a freeze frame. This is average position for the game. So Yang was playing there quite a lot. Exactly. The high line. They even commented on it in the game that the furthest back player for Celtic last night was in the Motherwell half. I mean, I just don't understand how you can keep going with that.
It's a foot race after that. That's what they were saying last night. The minute the ball gets put on the tap, it's a foot race. And you find majority of strikers or wingers are probably that wee bit faster, centre half or whatever. So
it's scary. It's scary, Alan, Daniel, and you've kind of dissected that quite well, Daniel, because it's bang on, mate. It's absolutely crazy. As much as Ralston and Scales, Gang, all the guys, they're no, for this level, they're not good enough, right? But to give them, I don't want to say a bit of leeway, but they're playing in positions where they don't play. Now, I know they should be good enough to adapt, right? But Ralston shouldn't be in where he is. He's a right back, and all he does is defend the right-hand side and go forward, right? He's not used to being in centre-back, having to go into the midfield. That's not his job. Liam Scales is getting played up past Tierney, flying past Tierney in the cup final. That's no his role. Don't get me wrong, last night I thought Scales was horrific last night. There's reasons why not Nancy dropped him and then he plays him again and he makes the exact same mistakes. Insanity. It's absolute insanity. Doing the same things and expecting different results. It is insanity. But to give them a bit of leeway, they're doing what they can with the limited ability that they have, right? But putting people in positions, Aaron, where they don't play, no matter how good they are or how professional they are at their craft, they don't play there. So they're then going to get under pressure. And it doesn't help when it doesn't change it. I say to my old man, watch the game at 1-0, right? He's got to go to 4 it back here. We're going to concede again. Go to 4 it back, show up, and just go 4-4-2 or 4-3-3. Go back to normal. And I guarantee you might still get the odd chance against you, Aaron, but it's not going to be as bad as that. Every time the ball's at the tap, Trusty's himself, because they two are far apart and he's gone. Now, I never say this about playing against Rangers. I always expect to beat Rangers, always expect us to, especially at Celtic Park, to go and win. But no matter how good we are going forward on Saturday, if we play like that, they are very bang up Rangers team, by the way. They're not a good Rangers team. But they'll bully you. One ball at the tap, if it's Kasama plays or Mikey Moore, a wee bit of speed, boom. And even Shamiti kind of keep missing chances every week. Alan, he'll get a goal if he's playing up front with the ball close to the box. It's absolutely crazy that he didn't change it mid-game, Alan. And the fact that he's kept it 5 out of 7 games, it's insanity at the highest order, mate.
It's arrogance and disrespect towards the club as a whole. He obviously has that high opinion of himself that he just thinks he could come in right away and rip it all up. And for me, he's lost the dressing room. And I says to you guys last night, if you look at Luke McCowan and Callum McGregor when the game finished last night, obviously when we've dropped 20 points or we've had a defeat in the past when Nancy wasn't here, you see the players are kind of upset, frustrated, etc. But that looked like utter anger last night for they two. They looked as if I'm only guessing, obviously, right? I'm looking at the body language and guessing that it looked like that way. Why is he got us playing like this? Why is he doing all this when we could be doing a lot better than we're actually doing at present? And they looked absolutely furious. Players don't get a scot free, but I honestly think he's lost the dressing room right away. I think he's coming in, and you can see. You've heard some of the things he said with the arrogance, like, oh, winning trophies doesn't matter. No, that's not everything. Winning games isn't everything. And then the one thing for me, Ryan, was see the thing he says, Martin O'Neill came out and says that he barely spent 15 minutes doing a handover with him. That is the biggest proof of arrogance for somebody that's been at Celtic.
Sorry to cut you in, but it's going back to what you're saying here. He says it doesn't matter about clean sheets. What are you talking about? Of course it matters. If you don't keep clean sheets, you're never going to win football games. Never.
Okay. Honestly, I know the players get drug tested, but I'm pretty sure this man should be seriously drug tested, because there is blatant deficiencies in what he's trying to do. I've no idea what this guy's trying to do, and I think the players look the exact same as the fans are looking at it. They're sitting going, what is this guy? What planet's he on? Because there is honestly, I can't see anything good. And you look at that Mick McCarthy, the meme when you go, this can't get any worse. It can. That, aye. It can.
It can.
That one. Aye, it can. And I can assure you it can. So, aye, we're getting into the game at the weekend, and to say we're meeting a Rangers team that have regressed over the last kind of few years, but we'll see if Danny Rose getting a slight tune at them. I'm not saying that obviously it'll take a lot of time, but I wouldn't be confident against anybody getting into a game at the weekend with this guy at the helm, because, as I say, I think he's completely lost the team. I don't see anybody playing for him in that team. And nobody has got an idea or a clue what they're supposed to be doing. I don't think he knows. I think he's just floating about with a correct floorboard and hoping for the best and just shouting at this. And when an opposition goal comes in, he'll get a wee clap, etc. And then he'll stand there and look bemused and come out and say mere waffle in the press conference after it. That's what's been happening over the last number of weeks, and I don't see anything different. Obviously, going into a game and obviously a derby, you're hoping for the best, and you're hoping that we manage somehow to get the win, because you know that matters a lot in Glasgow. But I don't. This is probably the least confident I've been going into a derby game in a number of years. I'm honestly. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope we're celebrating like mad at the weekend. I don't think, no matter if we get a win, it doesn't change anything. It doesn't change my opinion. It still has to go. Hope we get the win. I don't know about you guys, but I am not feeling confident one iota.
I don't think you can be confident, Alan. If I sat here and say we're going to go and win in 3 or 4 and do this, then I'd be lying to myself, mate. You can't watch that team and think that they're ultimately going to turn up on Saturday. It's just concerning me, Daniel, that I seen his interview after the game, and I agree with Tim Lloyd there. Winning Saturday papers of cracks. No, it does. It gives him an extra game, probably an extra 2 games after that. But what's concerning me is, Daniel, that some of his stuff after the game, and he spoke about the game and rivals. This guy does not know what he's going into on Saturday. That the religion side of it, the nasty side of it, the ferociousness, how quick it's going to be. The 2 teams will be ferocious fighting for the start. The fans, they've got 2,500, 3,000 fans back in. There'll be a bit of an atmosphere. So he doesn't understand what it means to be here at this football club. Again, this is what it seems to me. I could be wrong. I don't know the guy. I'm not in his house. I'm not at the training ground. I don't know what they're all talking about. But it just seems to me that there's no direction about where he's trying to take us. He says good things. We'll know where we want to be. Well, see if you know where you want to be, why do you change it to then make it worse? For me, mate, it just doesn't make sense. And I don't think he knows what he's going to have on Saturday, mate?
No, he does not. We knew that when he said last night he doesn't think it's a tactical problem, but then he said he's got some tactics to change. For me, I can't get my brain around it. When have we ever seen 7 games where you don't really have the same lineup? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's put out a different lineup every single game we've played.
Basically, aye.
And it doesn't take you that long to figure out who you want in your team and who you don't. He does not understand the size of this match. Obviously, he commented last night on it when asked, and he was saying about rivals and mental prep. You cannot mentally prepare for these games, because as soon as that ball's kicked, as soon as you step foot onto that park, every bit of preparation goes out the window, and it's fight or flight response. That's what these games are. That's what the atmosphere of these games do to you. We obviously don't know it as a player, but we know it in the stands. We've grew up in it. We know what it's like. He seems as if he is really, really out of touch with the magnitude of this game. I mean, I'm gave up trying not to be disrespectful. This is the biggest game of his career as a manager. I don't care about anything he's done with Montreal or Columbus Crew. This is the biggest game he will ever manage as a manager, and it's this Glasgow Derby. There's no other game like it. He does not understand it, and for his press conference last night, it just seems like somebody who's talking for the sake of it, and it's tragic. It's so sad to watch. The state that we're in, Aaron's spot on. In terms of confidence for this game, there is none. I don't expect us to get... I don't want to walk into these games thinking that we're going to get beat, but there's just no other outcome that I see. I said this to you last night. I do not see any other outcome. There's no possibility in my mind of us winning this game, because there you go, spot on. Any half-decent team, I'm not saying they're half-decent, but any half-decent team we've faced this season have beat us. And you throw a Glasgow Derby atmosphere into that, and the kamikaze defending that we are playing at the moment. Ryan, you said you feel like somebody's going to pump us. Depending on how this goes, this might be the one coming. Listen, I sit here and I say all these things. I very much hope that I'm wrong. I hope Alan's spot on. Hopefully we're sitting here in a couple of days talking about a great victory. I genuinely just don't see it.
You've got to be real, Daniel, and you've got to look at what's happening. As much as we all believe in Celtic, we've always got faith. Derby games are, sometimes you need to take the form out the window, but the way that we're into this game, it's just no any good prep at all. The last 5 minutes, Alan, of the pod, I just want to touch on, as much as the manager can get blamed in this, and the board can get blamed, for me, the players are also an absolute disgrace. I will say that. I'll say it, they're a fucking disgrace. Sorry for my language, but I've gave these players a lot of credit through the years about how good they've been, and they've been winners, and they've gave some of these players have given me so many memorable days, but that doesn't mean that they get scot-free. Last night was an absolute disgrace. Players don't want to tackle, don't want to press. Hatate swarming about, no caring. Maeda, no caring. Even McGregor, where's your captain? I'm not saying you need to go and get Nigren or Hatate or somebody and get them with the throat, but where's the leadership for McGregor? It's like he's given up the ghost as well. It's like they're all... he's lost the dressing room, Aaron, but the players also, Aaron, as much as you can lose your dressing room, you as an individual, you need to have that in you to chase and harry and tackle. No matter about the manager, no matter what you think about the manager, you need to do that as a player, because ultimately the manager can't do that for you. The manager can't defend for you. The manager can't put in a tackle. The manager can't be physical. Motherwell are putting in tackles and we're just letting them get up and get home with it. For me, Aaron, the players are an embarrassment as well. They're embarrassing the club, not just the manager and the board. The players are also having to take a long, hard look at themselves, because it's not acceptable. Players just swarming about, jogging back and no caring. It's not on, Aaron, so they need to take the bulk of it as well.
Aye, no, there's no doubt that the players should be performing a hell of a lot better. They should be taking some of the responsibility. They should be maybe acting in an ideal world. They should be acting a lot more professional than they are. But we know ourselves, lads. We're not in an ideal world. If the players have kind of took the huff with him, if the players are just not interested in what he's saying, you've seen football long enough that it doesn't matter how much we say the players should be professional or no. You're not going to get a reaction at them. That's why these managers are paid kind of a lot more than the players. You're expecting the kind of man management. You're expecting to guide these players. Aye, maybe the players should be taking on more responsibility, but for me, primarily, just my opinion, you're looking at first and foremost. You're looking at the manager. He's the figurehead. He's at the helm of the club. He's the one that should be leading this team, and it's just like we're leading this team into an abyss now. That's what it looks like. But I do get the point. I do think the players should be taking more on board, no matter if they've lost all confidence in the manager or not. They still should be performing at a higher level. But I think it's clear for everybody to see that it's not an excuse. But the reason why the players are like they are the last number of games, I think he's just completely lost the dressing room. And that's how I continue to say. I don't see any possible way back for this. It's just there's never any way that you can kind of turn that around. And as I say, the quicker the board members or the hierarchy, whoever it may be that's going to deal with this, the quicker that they realise that there's no going back for this, then the quicker you move this guy on, because it's not going to turn out well for anybody.
Aye, what's your thoughts on what myself and Arnold said there, Daniel?
Nah, I think these are absolutely spot on. Even in the comments as well, they're very accurate. It is almost as if they didn't know what today after Rodgers sort of just went, who's the first name in the list? Boom. People are saying it might be £6 million to get rid of him. I'd pay that. I'd pay that in a heartbeat if it meant that we had any sort of opportunity to salvage this season. It can't be a consistent, like you said, Ryan. If we lose the league, we could have accepted that. Finishing anywhere other than second place, if we are not to win the league, is downright ridiculous. It's already ridiculous if we don't win the league, but to drop even maybe the possibility of dropping below second place is just unfathomable, considering where we were. The players just don't look interested. These are spot on. They do not lose any criticism. They don't miss any criticism. They don't look bothered. They don't care. The guys that know the club inside and out are literally saying that they're struggling to kind of talk to friends and family about it because of the state that the club's in and where it's gone and the results that are coming off the pitch, because they just don't know what to tell them. I can't. Celtic really need to look within and go, do we really want this getting worse, or are we going to put our ego aside and benefit the club and send this guy his papers?
Aye, like Francis says, there is talk about a wee 2 second, obviously, conversation about this guy. It is a right back from Bournemouth, who's not played for Bournemouth a lot this year. He's played about one game, I think, in the League Cup. He has some good pedigree. He did play Barcelona, etc. But again, I don't know much about the guy. Aaron, he could come and be brilliant, but there's a stumbling block. Bournemouth can't let him go yet because they've got too many international players out on loan. So they'll need to let somebody go first or bring somebody back to let him go out. What type of recruitment sits and goes, we'll go for a player, oh wait, we can't get him yet? Go on to explain to me, Alan, how they guys are employed and getting paid handsomely and they can't even get a loan signing right.
Aye, so if the news reports that are coming out are true, we can't sign this guy at present because Bournemouth have already got the maximum amount of players out to kind of foreign countries. So we're looking to get this guy in for the game. That's what the news has come out, but it's not possible. So you just it's like a comedy that you couldn't make up. You couldn't write this. It just shows what a farce and how much a kind of a shambles and a joke that the things are going on behind the scenes. That this news is coming out that I'm not able to get this guy because well, it's there in fact that Bournemouth couldn't do that. So aye, you want players in before the weekend. Obviously, we want players in because you don't want to ask the kind of prospect to bringing in Johnny Kerry to play up front. You don't want Yang playing there. You don't want a back three kind of Ralston or Scales, Tierney and Ralston out of position and centre half position. So, aye, we'll see what happens. But for me, it's just going to be demoralising if we're still managed by Wilfred Nancy at the weekend. If I'm being honest, I don't see any players coming in before then. Probably hope there is because it gives us a wee bit more options. But I'd be probably shocked if there was a player in that was ready to start at the weekend.
Ultimately, Daniel, I agree with Alan. If the board or the recruitment team and whoever is dealing with that have been doing the proper job, i.e. for the summer and leading towards the summer into January, there should be one or two players coming in for this game or the first week in the window. We obviously know a good friend of the show who is a scout, and he spoke about his team already looking towards the summer. January's done, unless anything pops up. So that shows you how well behind the curve Celtic are. And this team has nothing compared to Celtic. Nothing.
Yeah.
But they've got a better system than what we have. The fact that we have no proper links, apart from this one, about coming in for the game. Need a striker, by the way. For me, the fact Daniel doesn't need any links. That's if I know they've been linked to a winger for Argentina, but if we've not got somebody in by that game, especially up front, Daniel, I don't know what they're doing. I know people say it's a hard window, but see if you I don't believe it is. I think it's just excuses. See if you've known since the summer you need a striker, surely for 6 months it's your priority. A right winger, a right mid, a striker and a centre back is 3 priorities we need. So there should be ridiculous amount of links very, very soon, Daniel. If not, then again, it just shows why we're wanting a load of change, mate, at top to bottom.
Yeah, definitely. I said it on here last week, I think it was, that if Celtic really did want to put everything aside and focus on improving the club and making the club better, there would be a striker and a centre-back stoning at Lennoxtown on New Year's Day. I don't see it happening. We've not been linked with anybody kind of a similar in that position, so...
Jotakin's back, got a new signing.
That's exactly the part they're going to hit us with, mate.
Get your Jota merchandise, he's back at Celtic Park.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous from top to bottom, mate. I don't understand how these are professional scouts, by the way, and these are professional recruiters. I don't understand how you can look at that guy for Bournemouth and know that they've got their maximum amount of, so it would need to be a permanent, or if you want a loan. By the way, Celtic are needing loan semi-permanent fixes. Celtic are needing permanent people to come into this team and hold the fort down and improve it. Loans aren't going to get you there. It's complete laziness. It's complete incompetence, and it's only going to get worse. I don't see anybody signing by the game in the new year, so we're all going to have to sit and watch it behind the couch, watching Johnny Kenny try to get his fit scoring boots on. So, best of luck to everybody watching the game, including myself. So, hopefully, New Year. Hopefully it does go away, but no, all the best to everybody in the new year when it comes tonight. Hopefully we have a signing, but I highly doubt it. And thanks for everybody tuning in and stuff like that. I hope you've all had a good Christmas, and hopefully the night we can put Celtic aside and welcome in the new year in a positive manner.
Yeah, definitely. I'll leave that last word to yourself there, Daniel, about obviously the recruiters, because you're bang on, mate. Again, this is the end of the show, so thanks a lot for your comments and your views. Again, I can't get through them all, obviously, because we're chatting as well, but some good opinions, and the majority of the fan base are all aligned that the manager has to go no matter what happens on Saturday. Again, thanks for your contributions throughout the year, to the support to the channel, following the channel, your opinions and everything that you contribute to the channel. This podcast wouldn't happen without yourselves tuning in, subscribing, liking, commenting, putting your opinions across. So we really appreciate your support, and hopefully continue that next year. And please like, subscribe, let all your family and your mates know. We are on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We're on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, everything social media wise, we're on it. Have a good new year. Stay safe. If you're going out drinking, stay safe. If you're not, enjoy the warmth of the house, because it is getting cold. It is -10 now, probably in Glasgow. The way we are playing, it might even be more than that. But all kidding aside, it is getting cold. As Jack and Victor say, hook me up, get the 3 bars on. It is getting cold. But stay safe, hail, and hopefully when we're back on after New Year, we're hopefully get a signing before the Rangers game, but I highly doubt it. But until then, Daniel, Alan, and the rest of the viewers, from all us, stay safe, enjoy the new year, and all the best.
Sets up Larsson here. Larsson. Oh, he's in! Henrik Larsson! That is sensational! O'Reilly. How about that for a pass? Jota! How about that for a finish? That is Jota for you!
In for Henrik Larsson, and Moravcik! His first goal for Celtic!
Here is Shunsuke Nakamura! Exquisite!